is that? Is that cleaning solution? It's Clorox. Who doesn't know what Clorox is? It's bleach. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Deanna, also known as Dee. Wow, I'm really loud. I'm kind of echoing. Whoops. Once again, I am outside. Sorry that I have not uploaded as I said that I would. Just a lot of things happened and we went on vacation over the weekend and yeah, you know. Today we are going to be talking about something that was very impactful for my sophomore year, at least the beginning of it, and that was my roommates for the first half of the year. Now, I know a lot of people have really good experiences with roommates, so this is not to like deter you from like getting a roommate or having any type of like random selection or anything, because sometimes you can't really help that. And luckily for me, my freshman year I was actually able to get a good roommate, but things happened. Me and her are still fine, but we decided that we didn't want to live together anymore. And unfortunately, because of that, I got into a bit of issue as I didn't really focus on trying to find a new roommate or where I was going to be living, and so I literally didn't have anywhere to live until the end of the summer of last year, and I was like, well dang, this sucks. And so I saw, well, one of my friends sent me the Facebook like post that one of them sent, and so at my school they have a couple of different types of living. One is apartment living, and this particular ad was for one of the apartments. I would be sharing a room, but I would have a kitchen. We had a private bathroom for the four of us who would be living in the apartment style suite, and a pretty good sized living room. The only issue is that it's literally tiny. The bedrooms are ridiculous. Like literally the one that I was in is the size of a closet, yet they stuck two people in it. Was originally only supposed to have one, but that is besides the issue. And I also was on the top bunk, and it was kind of situated like an L. I'm just saying this so that you all can kind of get an idea of the setup, although I know it's going to be kind of hard to picture everything. But yeah, again, I met the girl on Facebook and I was like, hey, I saw your thing, I'm interested, I don't really have a roommate. They're like, oh yeah, okay. Asked questions back and forth, added me to their group chat. I was like, all right, sounds good. So after making this decision, clearly I had to like buy things, so I bought a couple of different things for the apartment, and I was like, okay, this seems fine, because they literally had like a spreadsheet where everyone was like putting down what they wanted to get, and we like talked back and forth, we communicated. It's good, everything seemed good. And then I had to move in, and so I got up there and I was moving everything in. One of my other friends from the previous year like helped me move some of my stuff in, and then she helped me actually put things away and all of this stuff. And so only one of my roommates was there when I was first moving in, so she was fine. We talked a little bit. I was like, okay, she seems nice. She was actually talking to my friend who came up and was helping me put away my clothes, because I have a lot of clothes. My actual roommate ended up coming back, like it was kind of late at night, because I had got there kind of late just in general. But so she got there later on. She had been helping out with some of the freshman move-in stuff, and she immediately came in and started like complaining about that. My issue is that she literally was just ignoring my friend, who politely introduced herself and was trying to make conversation, yet my roommate acted like she was not there. And this continued throughout the entire semester. My friend would like continuously say that she'd see her in the elevator or something like that, or one of her roommates, who's also one of my friends, saw her and she's like, oh yeah, you're Kira's roommate. And this particular friend is a talker. She just continued to talk and talk and talk, and not once did my roommate say anything to her, did not smile, did not try to say anything or even attempt to be polite. And it wasn't even just with them. I maybe had a total of 5 conversations with this girl over the entire semester that I was staying there with her. Like full-on conversations. And not only that, I mean, I'm a talkative person. I admit this. I'm an ambivert. It just happens. Sorry. And I would get up and I would say, good morning, hello, almost every day, or at least every other day, and literally nothing. She would not say anything. Sometimes she'd just look at me and I'm like, okay, that's fine, so I stopped. If that was the only issue, then I probably would have been able to stay there. However, it was not the only issue. One of my biggest issues that I had with that whole roommate situation was their lack of cleaning skills. Good Lord, it was disgusting. Like, just look at this. Like, I took out the trash. Clearly the recycling needs to be taken out. What is this? This apple core has been here since yesterday. Yeah, and so what you saw, that was not just from a singular time. This happened over and over and over again for the entire semester. And at the beginning we had like a roommate agreement, and we talked about like who would be taking out things when and how things needed to get done, like the dishes and the recycling and the trash. Like, yeah, we'll just take it out when it needs to be, blah, 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 blah. It seemed like a good deal. And yeah, that was where I went wrong. So the first couple of times I went to clean up, because as you saw, not only was it just like the trash and the recycling, which was always ridiculous, and recycling literally sat in the living room and it would overrun and there'd just be stuff everywhere. They would also leave food in the trash can, because I was the only person who didn't like to make my own meals in there, because I didn't really have the time, so I just upgraded my meal plan. And so they would leave like food and fruits and vegetables and stuff in the trash can. And I would come home late at night because I'd be out studying or whatever, and I would come back and it would literally stink. Like the entire apartment would smell awful. And so I would take out the trash almost every other night because they would leave stuff in there. Not once did they take out the trash, because I always did it while they were sleeping. And not only that, they would leave food scraps on the counters, on the tables. There were crumbs all over the floor. They would leave tomatoes in the sink, apples, like peeled apples with like the core would just sit out on the counter, just laying there. Like once for fall break, I ended up staying and they left the kitchen a mess. Like literally, if I hadn't stayed there, we would have come back and there probably would have been roaches, because y'all, it's college. They don't fumigate every other day. I mean, I hope they don't fumigate every other day anywhere, but they definitely don't do it in like a college dorm. And it's just, no, literally just food and stuff everywhere. And like they would leave the dishes piling up and stuff. And so like I told you, like I cleaned up. Like I literally went into the kitchen on one weekend, everyone else was still there, and I just took some Clorox and I started cleaning up everything. And one of the girls walked in there and she said, "Oh, what is that? Is that cleaning solution?" It's Clorox. Who doesn't know what Clorox is? It's bleach. Of course it's cleaning solution. What do you mean? Anyway, that was strike one. But literally, she's like, "Yeah, I didn't know that we had that." And immediately goes into the counter, like the cabinet, where all of the cleaning supplies is, and reaches in there past where the Clorox was to get out some Lysol wipes. She's like, "Yeah, me and my roommate haven't been feeling that well, so I've just been making sure to wipe down everything with Lysol." I'm like, oh my god. Okay, sure. And so not only that, her roommate, oh my god, this is gonna get complicated. So I don't know, I have to figure out something. The people in the other room, one of them would actually come and wash the dishes. So we'll say, okay, the one that actually, like the other engineer, she would come and like wash the dishes of the other people in the suite, even though it wasn't hers. And that was nice, because her roommates literally, like, sometimes she's like, "Oh yeah, I just decided that I was going to wait because it didn't make sense to clean up the kitchen when it's just gonna get dirty again." That's why you clean up the kitchen, because it's dirty. And when it gets dirty again, you clean it up again. Like literally, I just looked at her, because she said this on multiple occasions. It wasn't just like a one-time thing. I was like, I don't know what you want me to do. But okay, fine, sure. I mean, I don't use the kitchen, so that's your stuff. Now, this is when it really started to get to become an issue. So, during finals week, I know, we've made it through an entire semester with this. But so basically during finals week, I broke my toe. And let's not go into the details about how I broke my toe, cause you know, I'm just kind of stupid sometimes, okay? Oh yeah, let me tell you about this part. So I broke my toe and I was like, you know what? I didn't know that I broke my toe when I broke it. So I went back to my room after a bit of an ordeal and I climbed up. I'm like, all right, if it's still hurting in the morning, then I'll go to the doctor. Woke up, of course it was still hurting because, you know, it was broken. And so I get out of my bed as carefully as I can and I limp around to like get myself ready to go because, you know, I literally had a test that day. Like, it was my lab final and I was like, there's no way in the world I'm gonna be able to make this. And so I get all of my stuff so I can study for my lab final while I'm waiting to see the doctor and everything. And so the two girls who live in the other room ask me if I'm okay, and I tell them about what happened and how I hope it wasn't broken. The one who I ended up not liking, and you'll see why in a little bit, the one who didn't know what bleach was actually concerned. Like, me and her got along like relatively okay until the end. And she like actually asked me what it was, and I explained to them like, oh yeah, we hope you're fine. We hope everything's good. My roommate, not once did she ask me why I was limping around or anything. And I mean, sure, you don't have to ask or anything, but like, literally you just didn't care at all. Okay. But anyway, so yeah, so I messaged my actual roommate, the one who did not even ask me if I was okay, if we could switch beds because I had broken my toe, so if I could get the unlofted bed. And she was like, no, I'm sorry, I'm afraid of heights. And I mean, while I was kind of irritated, that's understandable, people have fears and stuff. And so I called like the residential area advisor to see like what I should do, and they didn't have, at the time they didn't have any singles available, and they're like, well, we don't want to move you just because that might cause even more issues, although they did not know about what was happening, so honestly maybe I should have just taken that one. But they're like, yeah, just move your bed into the living room for now. And this is where it starts to get a little bit more irritating because the living room is next to the kitchen. The kitchen is always a mess. And so like literally, once again, even though I had stopped doing this, I had to start taking the trash out again on my little scooter, struggling to hold things because, you know, my stupid self broke my frickin' toe. To take the trash out and like make sure that I can actually survive and not suffocate with that. So we get back to second semester, and at the end of finals, like, I had already had my soon-to-be boyfriend coming over and they had no issue with him or whatever. Second semester, like, we get a 3-day break, like, almost right when we get back. Well, 3-day weekend, right when we get back, because we celebrate MLK Day and all this other stuff. And he was like coming over and helping me and like getting me food and just being nice. I'm honestly very surprised that we made it to that point because I was a brat when I first broke my foot, but it's fine. Yeah, and so it just somehow became like a bigger issue. Like, it snowballed that he was coming over, and they started to say things like it was in our roommate agreement that guys couldn't come over and all this other stuff. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. Like, literally the agreement was, let us know in advance, no sex in the house. This wasn't an issue at all. And I mean, granted, sometimes I did forget to let them know in advance, but I'd be like, hey guys, is it cool if he comes over and watches, we were watching The Walking Dead at that point, so is it cool if he comes over and watches The Walking Dead? No issues. And then just continue to start being an issue somehow. And not only that, as that became more of an issue since I was living in well, since I was sleeping in the living room, sometimes they would come in and turn on the lights. This is the one who didn't know who Bleach was, what Bleach was. Would come in the morning, because she's the only one who would wake up earlier than I did, to eat or whatever, but she would turn on the light in the living room instead of the one in the kitchen. It's like, why? You literally don't need that. You can see fine with just the kitchen light. Why are you turning on the entire living room light? And that would wake me up like every other morning. And not only that, she would get mad if like you had your the TV on too loud or anything like that. Yet while I was trying to sleep, would sit at the kitchen table and play a game that would just beep every other second. Beep, beep. Really? And so this continued for like a couple of weeks, and finally I just had enough, because not only that, like, it had been snowing, there was ice everywhere, so me on my scooter, I couldn't really get around. I'd been trying to walk, but that wasn't going the best. I had an appointment with my residential advisor, sorry, not my residential advisor, like the area coordinator, about moving out, because I had submitted a request to be moved, partially because of my foot and largely because of the huge issue that I was having with my roommates. And so I talked with him and everything, and I got approved. I was gonna be able to move into some kind of single. I wasn't sure which one yet. So my mother was like, yeah, don't tell your roommates, just because some people like to be a little bit nasty and like mess with your things. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want to be rude when people actually come to like move my stuff. So I waited until I was supposed to, like a couple of days before I was actually supposed to move out. So I don't know, it sounded like a dying dog. I'm confused. Anyway, I waited until a couple of days before I was supposed to move out to let them know, like, hey guys, I'm moving out on this day, so there'll be people in here. End of the discussion. So this is like the weekend before ICCA. I'm supposed to like move out, like right, I don't remember what it was, but anyway, so housing kept messing up my stuff. And so I was supposed to have been able to move out, I think, before ICCA, or maybe it was like immediately after, but they kept pushing the date back, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And I'm gonna tell you why it was ridiculous, or getting even more ridiculous as I was waiting. Oh no, don't rain. Guys, it's starting to rain. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to finish this story inside. Give me a second. And we're back. All right, I have no idea where we left off in this story. I'm just gonna go to ICCA. Anyway, I think that I told you all that ICCA is a competition for a cappella. So basically, it was the night before ICCA. I was already running on very minimal sleep because preparing for ICCA and testing and social life, and yes, you know the whole combination. Anyway, we're having an issue because, what was it? They decided they were gonna watch Frozen. The one night in the living room. The one night that I actually needed to go to bed early. And it wasn't like it was really early. Like, I didn't get home until around like 10:30 or 11. Yet here they were about to watch Frozen. Was it Frozen? It might have been Moana. Either way, they were gonna watch some Disney princess movie when I needed to go to sleep. And now, mind you, I love me some Disney. Disney princesses, yes, here for it. However, really, and like, I told them that, hey, I gotta go to sleep, ICCA, whatever. And they stayed. I'm like, okay, maybe we can get some work done, because I don't normally work in my room, in my home, whatever it is. I don't really enjoy that. But I decided I was gonna try and do some stuff on my computer, and like midway through I was like, oh crap, I still have to do my hair. I went in and washed my hair. I realized that I'd forgotten some of my product after I got out, but it wasn't something that I needed to like actually wash and condition, so I just waited. And when I got out, the one who doesn't, so I got out and I like left all of my stuff in there, so like my stuff was like on the toilet. My clothes were like on the toilet, and like I had stuff like on the sink and stuff. And I went out and I went to this giant like storage closet that we had where most of my things were, just because in this tiny apartment, excuse me, in those tiny apartments, they had us in both rooms, although the other room was a bit larger, but they had both rooms sharing a singular closet. Now, I already told you all that I have a lot of clothes, so you know that just wasn't working. So there was clearly nowhere for my hair stuff to be. So I just had a giant bin of like hair stuff that was in the storage closet on top of one of my shelves. So I went in there and like got the stuff that I needed to get. And while I was doing that, the one who doesn't know what bleach is went into the bathroom. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, whatever. I did take a while, and she does have the blood of a squirrel. So I'll say like a chipmunk, because I have the blood of a squirrel. Shut up, wasp! There's a wasp in here somehow, and I really don't know why, but I don't appreciate it. There's the rain! Girl who doesn't know what bleach is comes back out. And I go in. And guess where my clothes were? On the floor. What? 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 Oh my god, it's so loud. We have to move it again. So I told you about what brought me to my tipping point, because that was a lot. And I know this video is already getting pretty long, as I have moved 3 times by now at this point. And it's probably at least 30 minutes, at least of raw footage. We gotta cut some of that stuff out. But I've decided that I do need to move part of what I want to talk about to another video, and that's going to be talking about what to do if you have a bad roommate issue, and things that I learned from that. Anyway, one of the things that I did forget to talk about, just in case any of you all want to know what I was doing about any of this, because you know, I feel like I was pretty calm until about 10 seconds ago. It's fine. So, as I told you, the kitchen was always nasty. I mean, here it is again. But I did try to mediate it a couple of times. I asked them to have another roommate meeting, like earlier in the semester, before finals, before I broke my foot, all of that stuff. I asked them about that, what they wanted to do about chores, if they wanted to make a chore chart, because it was getting ridiculous. Like, yeah, no, we see what you're talking about. So, but we think that a chore chart is doing too much. How is a chore chart doing too much? Because you don't want to do your chores. But, you know, responsibility is too much for some people. So, instead of doing that, I sent them a couple of messages throughout the semester about how we needed to take out the trash or clean up the kitchen or clean the dishes or whatever. And then also, when we had, what was it? Oh yeah, fall break. When they left all of their stuff everywhere. Over fall break, well, when fall break ended, left them a nicely worded message. And I do think I was being pretty nice. I never cussed him out or anything. I wanted to, but I didn't. Alright, so back to the story. We're gonna pick up where I left off in the last location. So it was time for me to move out. Finally. My actual roommate, the one who I had maybe all of 5 conversations with prior to me moving out, as I was getting my stuff out of the kitchen because, you know, I had food, Tupperware and stuff. So girl asked me if I was going to take their Tupperware. Not saying like, oh yeah, this one's mine or whatever. Like, no, she asked me if I was going to take their Tupperware. And then was trying to talk about which ones was her. I'm like, no, these are mine. Most of the Tupperware in this thing is mine. And she had food or whatever in my thing, which also was really old because, like, she made, like, what was it, like, roasted pumpkin seeds or something, like, back in November or, like, the beginning of December. It was January. It was still on the fridge. But okay. And this whole time, see, the only reason why I know the only reason why I didn't go off on them is because most of my friends are good influences. My best friend was trying to get me to go off on her because she didn't like her either. Or any of them, honestly. But I was listening to my mother. I was listening to my friends who were saying not to go off on them, anything. And because of this, I had decided that because I was the one who got a lot of the bathroom decorations, like the bath mat and the shower curtain. And as I'm getting out the rest of the things, I see the bath mat that I bought for the space. Like, they were very picky about what they wanted. Like, I was messaging them back and forth, like, the whole summer. They were like, yeah, not too many sparkles. I didn't really like blue, blah, 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 because there's 3 of them, and one of them is very boring. But anyway, so the one who does not know what bleach is had taken the bath mat out of the bathroom and left it in a crumpled little pile in the floor in the hallway and had replaced it with a bright blue rug in the bathroom. I was like, oh, okay, so that's how it is. So before we got all of my stuff to leave, me and my best friend went in there and we took down the shower curtain. How you going to move the stuff that I was actually going to leave? I was trying to be nice. How you going to move the bathroom rug that I bought into the hallway and then expect to keep the shower curtain that I also bought that just so happens to match the rug that you got for some reason? I think not. Thanks for listening to this rant, I guess. Yeah, I know. I was trying to stay calm for most of it. Sorry about the little part where I wasn't. I tried my best. But yeah, so as I said, I'm breaking this up into 2 different videos just because I did want to talk about what you should do if you have bad roommates. Because there are some things that I did and some things that I didn't do that I should have done. And some things that I learned from this incident. And I want to share that with you all as well. But I'm sure you all don't want to watch that in addition to this right now. So I'm just going to cut it off here. Just go ahead, give a nice big thumbs up. If you've ever had roommate issues like this or worse, go ahead, post your roommate horror stories in the comments. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be a good time. No roasting. Let's try to keep it nice. Just let people know some of the things that you could go through. And as I said before, this is not to deter anyone from the roommate process, like the random selection process, but just know that it is not always going to go the best, and there are ways that you can handle it, which I will talk about next time. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!